Podcast, WATP.
Big news came out, and John came on the show yesterday full of energy, and I'll just play the clip, and then I'll explain what's going on here, but there's a big reveal that happened.
Hey, everybody! It's your teacher. How are ya? Skål! First of all, now there's so much to unpack here, but let's start with the elephant in the room. Not that fucking cowardly potato. I'm talking about the real elephant in the room, which is, yes, I have been teaching.
Shocked. We're all shocked.
All right. This surprises no one. John's been talking about how he has a day job again. That's why he's been starting the podcast later. And he's, the ad agency. And, he talked about Amazon warehouse. Someone brought up teacher. So he'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm teaching. And he wouldn't elaborate on that at all. We had a lot of elaborations on the other things. He had a lot of details about the other things. And that was a tell that John was definitely teaching. And so he had court. And he was doing Zoom court. And Cardiff Electric found the link to this thing somehow. And so Cardiff peeked in at his Zoom court and saw John in the classroom.
No.
Doing his traffic court because he had his registration. He had to get his registration in Florida. So he had his court date. And there's second graders in the background. So John's teaching elementary school. And this came out because Cardiff saw this.
You can't do that. He won't be teaching much longer.
Well, people pointed out he's not. People pointed out that normally, if you have court, then you get a substitute teacher to fill in for you because you got court that day. John's a substitute, just like, by the way, I won't be able to teach this class because I have court. Okay, wow. I guess. So he handed out like a word search puzzle to all the kids. It's a music class. So the kids had to find different names of instruments in this word search. And that's what he was keeping the kids busy with while John was in his
Wait a minute.
court.
Okay, wait. I have a lot of questions. Actually.
I have a lot of answers.
Like, I assumed he's a substitute teacher.
Yes.
But he's subbing for the music teacher? Because my thought was, why didn't he wait for the kids to go to special or whatever? But he is special. I get it. But so he's teaching music and he's doing this court thing while the students are in the classroom?
Yes, because you can see students.
Oh my God.
No one has shown this video. Cardiff hasn't put the video out. John's going to accuse Cardiff of doing things he hasn't done. But from what I've heard, students show up on the video because they're just like, I can't find cello. And John has to be like, all right, well, here you go. So these students walk up to him while he's doing this. All right, strap in. We got all the answers.
Okay,
you have a lot of
okay.
questions. I have all the answers because this was him explaining what's going on. And the problem with teaching, now remember he was teaching in California and bragging about all the money he was making. Florida's a little bit of a different story.
Why? Because I love doing it. The problem here in Florida is that the salaries are not what they were in LA. And I've been saying that on the air for how long? And it gave me the reason to give notice a while ago, even though they asked me to be there full time. So my last day is next Wednesday, and that's fact check.
So John is claiming he put in his notice already a while ago. He just started this job. It was just November. And then he already took a whole week off for Thanksgiving and went back to New York.
And he didn't know what the salary was before he got the job?
Oh, how is that possible? He goes, they're not paying me enough money, so I put in my note. It's like, well, you agree on what they're going to pay you when you take the job.
Yeah, it's not an audition.
Right.
Right. And it shouldn't be a mystery.
Right.
No.
Of what you're going to get paid.
That is, I've never forgotten to ask a potential employer what I was going to make.
Oh, and one more thing.
Doug, listen to this. This is crazy right here.
Because when I got my first paycheck, it was just not acceptable for the Duke. When I was in California, I would make about $7,000 a month.
Bullshit.
So John literally didn't know how much he was making until he got his paycheck and went, "Oh, this is what you're paying me? Well, then fuck this. I'm out of here." How is that possible? This guy can't even be bothered to know what he's getting paid to do a job that he was doing.
Well, because he loves teaching so much.
He did say that he has a passion for it and he loves it. Fuck this.
I'm
going to
love the
Pepsi.
game until that paycheck comes in.
Well, there's some people like G. Rob who think that John probably got fired, and that's why he's pretending that I quit. I didn't get fired.
There's no. There's no way. Because I don't know what he's getting paid, but it's more than nothing.
He's going to tell us. He's going to tell us a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But do you remember him bragging? He was coming on his show after working his long days, and he'd be like, I already made $300 today.
Yes.
He said that specifically at the ad agency, which I went, how does that make any fucking sense? You don't know how much money you got paid that day at an ad
just
agency.
hand him an envelope full of cash as he
Right,
walks out.
right. Like he's collecting for a mob boss or something.
Right.
So he got $300 that day. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, maybe he didn't know what he was getting paid. Thought he did make $300 that day. And then got his paycheck and went, oh, shit, $15 an hour? I thought that was $50 an hour. I thought you said $50 an hour, 15. I'm telling you, something like that must have happened, because otherwise, why would you be surprised by your paycheck? And also, he's like, 6-figure job. He's killing it. Everyone's jealous. He's got this amazing job. He's substitute teaching in an elementary school and thinks he's going to make all this money.
And managed to get fired.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I would like to say that he's probably lying, but that does seem like something John would do. Just assume that you're making a certain amount of money and then be shocked by what you actually get.
So John's going to explain to us there's different tiers of what substitutes make in Florida. And I did do a little research on this. This is true. Based on what your credentials are and your background, they'll pay you different amounts of money. And there's a tell in here. John is lying because he only stutters when he's lying.
Granted, because I have a 4-year degree, contrary to all the losers out there who like to lie, or not admit when they're wrong, just do it, Lady K, saying that I don't have a 4-year degree. Well, once again, I just proved it because I had to send my transcripts in order to be.
He didn't prove it because he's going to go on to say you can teach at these schools with a high school diploma or associate's degree, which he has both of those things. So wrong again, Johnny boy.
Become the second highest.
Okay, so now he's going to explain to us that he's the second highest you could possibly be paid as a substitute teacher. But watch how hard it is for him to spit this out. And also looking up to the ceiling again.
In order to become the second highest level paid sub.
Okay. I think you're lying. You were getting paid bullshit and you know it.
Second highest. I want to know how many levels there are, because if there are 2, then he's probably right.
No, I think there's 4.
Okay. All right.
So if you're a former fully credentialed teacher, maybe you've retired or you're doing something else and you want to substitute, they're like, all right, we'll give you the maximum.
Sure.
And then there's other levels based on other things.
What if you're a lazy, lying, drunk retard?
Probably a lower level. I would imagine.
Just asking for a friend.
So John does another tell here where he says, I'm going to be honest, which means everything he was saying before this was a lie.
And I'm going to be honest. I make less than $20 an hour.
Yep.
Skull?
It's 8 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
And, it's sad that they don't pay as much.
So
Well,
he's
I mean,
complaining.
if you're just doing Zoom court from the classroom, how much should you be getting paid for that?
I'm also teaching driver's ed.
Well, this is the problem right here. So he was getting paid way more in California for doing nothing, babysitting a classroom, than he's in Florida. That's why people are fleeing California and going to places like Florida, just like John did, because you're getting taxed to death and your tax dollars being wasted on idiots and losers like John. Whereas in Florida, there's 0 state income tax because they're just like, we're just going to pay people what they're worth. Oh, good idea. That's probably pretty smart.
Ooh, John should not go anywhere where they're going to be paying people what they're worth.
Correct. He's handing out dittos to the class and then complaining he's not getting paid enough.
And he didn't, those were just left there by the teacher. Here, I understand that you are not capable of teaching these students. Get them to do this worksheet today.
Yeah, here's some busy work to keep the kids doing something. So why doesn't he care that people are contacting the school? Because I was looking at Dabblers Anonymous and everyone's outraged. We got to contact the school. We got to let them know that John said this about Chad's brother and he's drunk and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's not your problem, guys. It's your kid isn't in the school. Don't worry about it. Whatever. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, and John will take care of himself.
John will take care of himself. You don't need to get involved in this. A lot of people are getting involved, contacting the school. But John doesn't care about that. And here's why.
Because I'm going to devote my time to my one-man show, which I started working on last night. And it's really coming easy to me. A, because I'm a joke crafter, and B, because I'm following the template of my autobiography.
And
So
C,
it's
because
not,
you're all alone.
and that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start getting back to the clubs. I know you're going to try and get me canceled there too, because
No.
you guys have this ultimate jealousy for the Duke, and I understand.
Just last week.
Funny, Chad. A couple of your people that you opened for have responded. So if anyone has a thumbnail of Chad's show that Patreon so smartly removed, if anyone has a thumbnail, I want to send that over to Nick Swartzen and to Daniel Tosh.
Anybody. Yeah.
Just last week, he was talking about making sure that Chad Zumach's future gigs would be canceled. Yeah. That he would be kicked off of these lucrative shows that he does. And now John, working on his one-man show, yes. Thank you, Lord. That's amazing. Make it happen, please. Goes, and I know you losers are going to try to get my gigs canceled. And it's worse than that. And I know John will say he can justify it. No one else can. I'm not the one trying to get John's gigs canceled. John's the one trying to get Chad's gigs canceled. Right. There's no host of a show. Shuli's not making phone calls. I'm not making phone calls. Mike Morse doesn't talk. He's not making phone calls. And John's sitting there actually the one who's reaching out to Daniel Tosh.
It's the most effort he puts into anything.
And Nick Swartzen. Oh, yeah. When he wants to get people's lives ruined, that's when he gets into high gear and gets things moving.
Listen, Carl, you have said so many times to your audience, do not get people's stuff canceled.
Right.
I would like to reach out right now, and if we could all get together and actively get this show made, produced, I would. This is the one thing of all the dumb stuff he says he's going to do, and none of it ever comes to fruition. I want to see this one-man show so badly.
I would start a GoFundMe for him, except for I know you just spend all that money on beer. It wouldn't actually happen, because that would be great. Josie Whale says, one-man show, who's the man? Very good. I like that. But I actually have a brilliant idea for what this one-man show can be. I think he maybe has already put it together.
If you ever saw me teach, it's a performance.
Oh, I'm less
and in this case,
now.
it's 24 of the same performances. It's like doing 2 weeks at the Laugh Factory. I mean, for instance, I was doing, the whole alphabet and how notes have their own alphabet. And I'm not going to get into everything. But I start there and I build and I build and I build. And it's a 40-minute lesson. And that's what I do. And then each week I'll have a new 40-minute lesson. So it's like writing a new monologue, but you're teaching something that I am very passionate about, which is music. And I think you all know that I'm extremely passionate about music.
Hence the Motorhead t-shirt.
Right, yes. Everyone's passionate about music loves Motorhead.
This is amazing.
So when John teaches, it's a performance. And he's like that charismatic college professor who brings chemistry to life, except for it's music to second graders. Could you imagine? He's putting together, and John always looks at himself in this crazy light, like he's doing so much good in the world. He's teaching second graders notes.
Yeah.
And he has to put together a 40-minute monologue in order to do that?
There's no way. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I also went to second grade. They don't teach you notes. You're not at that point yet.
I just picture a bunch of Ralph Wiggum sitting there like dumbfounded at this.
There's no music theory at this stage. Maybe it's a private school. Maybe it's focused on music or something, which in that case, I don't know why you'd have John in there. But John, I can save you a ton of time. That's your one-man show. You've already written it.
Yeah.
Just act like you're teaching second graders as if you're the most brilliant college professor ever and teaching them a scale.
That's so great. Well, at the end, all those second graders stand up on their desks in support of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a prodigy in the corner, pulls out the recorder, just like, oh, you'd be like this.
Someone in Davos Anonymous Photoshop School of Suck.
All right. So this is how good his monologues are that he's doing for these second graders.
Kids, of course, they took to me. In fact, teachers would bring other teachers in the room.
No,
They're like,
they
this
don't.
is amazing. We actually have somebody. You know, they were very happy. Not like the other guy wasn't good. He was good too, but he had to leave. He had a family emergency.
So John is claiming that teachers are bringing other teachers in the room to watch him do this. And Doug, your immediate reaction was like, that's not happening. I think it is.
I
think that word is getting out in the break room.
You're
where
right,
they're
you're
like,
right, okay.
holy shit, you guys see Mr. Melendez teach these second graders music theory.
You want to do a cameo this afternoon?
Yep.
great.
No, sorry, I was thinking about it in the opposite, but you're right. That actually makes perfect sense.
I think that is actually happening where other teachers are looking in. They're like, hey, do you mind if we like hang out in the back? I got an empty period right now. And John,
I'm not trying to out myself right now. I do teach. I am a teacher. I find this, first of all, personally offensive, but also I will walk down the hall sometimes and I do hear somebody teaching and it's bananas and I will literally stand out in the hall and listen. So yeah, I could kind of see other teachers showing up to see this absolute train wreck take place.
So I think if he could record this, or maybe a teacher already has it or something like that, and we can watch this performance, I will pay $1,000 of my money personally. I'm sure we could pool in other money together to get this going because you know that it's full on performance, John.
Oh, confident
Oh, God.
performance,
Yeah.
John.
Yes.
I mean,
He's
there are
strumming
second
the
graders out there
guitar.
that have phones. So kids, if
Yes.
you can do it, that would be great.
I think there's
Front
one that
row
took his
seats.
phone.
That's right. Now, John's talking about these kids. He's changing their lives as he does. And so, of course, he's going to get a little bit choked up here when he thinks about what Cardiff is doing to take John's unique teaching style away from them in this way.
And, you know, I love children. And I love teaching children.
Oh, no.
I taught my own kids.
So I have a couple theories here. Some guy wrote me when the show was happening and just goes, you notice how red John's eyes are? I think he was crying all afternoon, which is very possible when he saw
He
Cardiff in
lost
that
his
Zoom
teaching
call.
job.
Yep. So it's very possible that that's what's going on. But also, when he got choked up about the children, I think he's remembering back to when he had a relationship with his kids. And that's what's getting him so worked up. Like, damn it, now they're adults and they see right through my bullshit and they want nothing to do with me. When they were kids, they had no choice.
Yeah, because this is real. This is not like the fake Alex Jones crying. Like, this is real
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Also, Josie says alcoholics can't control their feelings now. That's part of it too. Like that's real right there. Where let me play that again, where he really is choked up and he makes that noise to get himself out of it.
And, you know, I love children. And I love,
That was him thinking back to Greta as a young girl and Lily and the rest.
Yeah, I'll bet 20 years just passed in those 2 seconds.
Yeah.
He
He had to snap himself out of it.
he was bummed out about that. But now these kids, and you know, this is all Cardiff's fault. These kids are missing out.
Fucking Cardiff.
I got news for you people. Florida needs teachers. All Cardiff did today was maybe they'll fire me before this Wednesday. So the students will not have a quality teacher for the next 8 days. And that is the only thing that the potato accomplished.
Two things. First off, Saturday and Sunday are included those 8 days, so it's really 6 days of lessons or whatever. I think in the grand scheme of things, these kids will be fine. It's not like COVID when school shut down for years. I think it'll be all right. But also he goes, the only thing that Cardiff accomplished was fucking with these kids. No. What he accomplished was proving you're a liar. Yet again. This is the thing that John will never understand, is that when he makes up stories about ad agencies and it's not believable, people investigate. They're like, wait a second, you were in an ad agency? No fucking way. And so everyone's trying to figure out what's going on here. If he would have came out and said back in November, guys, I'm substitute teaching again, no one would be shocked by that. He was doing it before. Right. And he just goes, I'm in an elementary school. I'm not going to say the school. I don't want anyone messing with these kids, but it's what I like to do. I'm teaching music. It's great. I think overwhelmingly people would be like, great, good for him.
Yeah, that probably would have been the long and short of it.
That's fine. I know me personally, I wouldn't have been making fun of him. We wouldn't be talking about it right now. If
he
that
takes
was the
the
case.
wrong approach to everything.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
It's amazing how you can do everything wrong, but he manages to do it.
So this is my favorite. This is him talking about what the kids enjoyed about his teaching style.
But these kids enjoy my singing and my playing guitar and showing them octaves and how the 7 notes, and then you go to the octave.
One of my favorite things about John, first off, self-awareness doesn't exist. So these kids enjoy his singing. No fucking way in hell, but okay. But now he's talking about octaves and 7 notes, and then you get to the octave. And John can't help himself. He has to start bragging about what he teaches these kids, which is so elementary, pardon the pun. But he really thinks this is impressive somehow.
Right. Which is the 8th octave, hence OCT. But see, it doesn't matter. I mean, the point being is he's not hurting me by showing up as that stupid potato. And I saw him, as soon as I saw the fucking idiot, I turned my camera off.
Can you imagine he's in court and he looks over, there's the bailiff and the attorneys and the judge. And the potato's just like, he's got the stupid Santa beard on. He's like, fuck. How did he find me?
I guarantee you those kids were having a ball. Those kids,
yes.
Potato, the expressions that Cardiff makes,
that's great.
John, it probably took him a second. He's like, oh, Santa's here. Hey, wait a minute.
But John, talking about singing for the kids, all I could picture was, he's a shit weigher. He's a dude's payer.
Fatty.
Yeah. Play shit weigher again. What's he talking about?
I know.
Oh.
If you didn't watch Point Dabble Point this week, I recommend it because we were playing a lot of John pulling out the guitar and singing. I can tell that he's been performing a lot lately, which we're finding out obviously is true. And you could tell he got confidence from that. And he's pulling out the guitar and he's singing, he's playing everything wrong. It's the funniest shit you've ever seen. So worth checking out because it really culminated into this, which worked out perfectly. Right after we played that, he admits that, he's performing for these kids. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where some of the kids came into the camera view.
I guess at some point, some kids had, could you help me find a word? And I would say, there's cello. There's piccolo, and I would help the kids out as you would. You say, just look for the first letter, look for a P, and and you go down the line and you find the,
Again, he's over-explaining shit to us. Like, we're going to be impressed. Like, wait, you know how to do a word search? Holy shit, dude, that's amazing.
That's not the point of this.
That's not the point.
You're not supposed to be in court while you're teaching class.
Yeah, he's like, what do you want me to do? I got to show the kid where cello is.
This isn't impressive.
And hey, Billy, should I plead no contest?
And that being said, they were supposed to write their favorite instrument and the 3 instruments they like and a little sentence about each instrument. Banjo has 5 strings, something like that. So at least they could do some
can't help it.
of their research on their laptop and, Anyway, that's what I had prepared.
Or someone else did.
He cannot help it. He hands out dittos to these kids, and he's just like, and so I handed out dittos, and the kids had to complete the dittos. Yeah, it's 2nd grade. We know. I was there once. Okay.
That's what I had prepared.
So this is John talking about, he thought he'd be safe.
I am thinking that I'm in the safest environment in the world in a federal court.
A federal court. Lee County Traffic Court is where you were, John. It was a registration ticket that you were getting dismissed because you got your registration taken care of. I swear, when he tells the story a year or two from now, he will have been at Capitol Hill in front of Congress talking about this, and then the Cardiff Electric shows up. It's not federal court. This is a guy who talks about politics once a week with his buddies. He thinks this is federal court.
Oh my God, this is funny. This is insane.
I'm in a courtroom.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're
So
in a classroom.
the last day. Now the principal was notified. The school was notified that I had to do this Zoom meeting. I would never think in a million years that an asshole like that coward would come into the room and film it. So when he says, I doxed these children. No, I did not. You, Potato, doxed these children.
He's done nothing. Cardiff has done nothing. All he did was go on Twitter and say, John's teaching again. I just saw him in Zoom court. He hasn't posted a photo or a video or anything. There's no children anywhere. And also showing a video or a photo of a child is not doxing a child anywhere. What does that do for anyone? Like, oh yeah, there's a kid. He's supposed to do with that information.
It's just so funny to watch him get this angry and to have to say the words, you did this, Potato.
Passionately like that too.
I'm starting to think this isn't him angry. This is him embarrassed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of that in here. Yeah.
Yeah. G. Rob's theory is that John didn't notify anyone that he had court, and then he got figured out by these students. That's why he got fired.
I couldn't imagine a principal on the planet going, oh, yeah, that's cool. Don't worry about it.
You got court? Yeah, I got a dentist appointment during my classes too, so don't worry about it.
Fuck it.
I was going to leave as well.
You want to go get a beer?
All right. You guys ready for Stuttering Karen?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think John's going to do now that Cardiff Electric showed up in his Zoom court meeting?
First of all, I will tell you, Cardiff, and this is a fact, I did immediately call the police and called Lee County Court. And I notified them of your name, Cardiff Electric, and I told them of your intent.
So John called the police and the court. I'm sorry, sir. You said there's a potato named Cardiff Electric? All right, I'm going to put you on speaker. Can you say that again? What a fucking idiot. I called the police to tell them that a potato showed up in my Zoom court meeting.
You know, we understand all potatoes have eyes. Oh, this one has a mouth as well. Huh?
Right. Fucking idiot. I told him your name, Cardiff Electric. All right, so now John almost gets it, but he doesn't get it. Cardiff is a master troll. That's how we know who Cardiff is. Yeah. He's just a master at it. He's the only guy that I know who's gotten on the Howard Stern show to talk about Stuttering John. And John used to be that guy. John used to be the guy who was talking to the celebrities and catching them off guard and getting these great tapes back. And John just can't see it.
Because, you know, he's trying to be Stuttering John without the talent, without the charisma, without the jokes, without the humor. So, Rob, this idiot Potato, after case is dismissed, he tries to yell out, "What about drunk drive?" And the judge just fucking cuts him off. Like, just no humor, nothing funny about it.
I wonder if John would have thought that was funny if he was the one yelling out, "What about the drunk driving?" to one of his enemies.
Oh, he'd be laughing about that for weeks.
Oh, it'd be nonstop.
We heard how hilarious the Trump prank phone call was.
Right. He's like, he's trying to be me without my edginess and humor and quick-wittedness. Like, there's no evidence of any of this, John. Nope. You're not funny at all. Cardiff is funny, turns things into content. Yeah. You do just the opposite.
I mean, listening to him cackle about Chad's dead brother. Yeah. Like, that was the cringiest shit I ever heard come out of this guy's mouth. And he said some absolute nonsense, but that was abhorrent.
Well, the worst part is
he didn't get it, or not that he didn't get it, but pretended that he didn't get it.
Right. The worst part is
so sad.
And he's still doing it up until yesterday when I was watching this. I didn't pull the clips, but he's still saying, like, I have proof that someone just texted me and that's why I made the joke, but I didn't know that his brother had died or anything like that. But then after Clay Dabler explained that his brother had died, he still told that other joke and laughed at it. So that's not the cover you want, John. It's not going to work for you.
Yeah. Not knowing what it means. If you don't know what it means, why are you laughing at it?
Correct.
Why would you laugh at that if you don't know what it means? Like, that's the joke.
He showed on this show. He showed on this show the text message he got from an anonymous source at the time that he told that joke that just said, make fun of Chad's brother getting run over. He hates that, or something like that. And so is John just trying to sell it with that laugh, or did he genuinely think he was coming with a good joke with the Buick and stuff? I don't know. Either way, not great.
Nope.
Not a good look.
Nope, not at all.
So the police are involved, and Cardiff better look out.
I called the police. I've been in contact with them, and they're going to look for his VPN. Now, I know he's probably smart enough to hide his VPN, but they're going to try and find it because if
That's
and
break the
when,
law. Well, I don't know why you gave him a warning. You should have let him air it. Now he's probably not going to air it.
well, I want to protect the kids.
Well, yeah.
Yes, the kids come first, Rob.
Protect the kids. Okay, couple things here. First off, John's a moron. They want to find his VPN, the virtual private network. What an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. And then he goes, Cardiff was going to air this video on Potato Soup Thursday night on Rumble, which I believe Cardiff has no intention of doing. I don't know what he's going to do. I'm not Cardiff.
Right.
But John goes, you better not air that video. And Rob's going, oh, you should have let him air it. Then he could have gotten him in even more trouble. And John just like, sorry, Rob, I care too much about the kids. Again, what would seeing a child do for anyone? What harm would come to that child if that were to happen?
Well, and the other thing is, like, you can't say that's harming the children if you're the person on virtual court in the middle of a classroom.
Right.
Like,
They would never have been filmed on the internet.
to do that. Like,
Right.
school districts have rules in place. Like, you can't just put images of your students just willy-nilly up on social media and shit like that.
Right.
Like, I think this all falls under that. And
it's John's fault. It's 100% John's fault for filming from his computer in the classroom and then getting them on there. So at this time, KB...
Did he at least have that cat filter on his face?
Oh, that'd be fun.
At least that would make it mildly amusing. I mean, actually, there was a potato. Never mind. Forget it.
Yeah, there's already a potato in there. What are you making a mockery of my courtroom?
Yes.
At this point, Kevin Brennan is sniping them, and Rob Saul comes on and explains to John, Kevin Brennan is sniping, and not only that, he's telling everyone to contact John's school to get him fired. And so John hears this news, and Stuttering Karen comes out again.
So wait, is Kevin trying to get me fired?
I think so. Yeah, well, yeah. He told everybody, he said, do your thing, got him fired. And
Okay, thank you. Because then I am going to then file. When I'm in New York, I'm going to go to New Jersey, and I'm going to file a complaint against him because you can't start telling people to get somebody fired. You're not allowed to do that.
well,
So
more the merrier.
What?
Never mind.
Okay.
What Rob is alluding to there when he says the more the merrier, Rob's not doing a good job of covering this up. He's pretending to be, but he's actively trying to put together a lawsuit against Kevin Brennan. And I don't know if it's because Kevin was saying that Rob's on pills or whatever defamation thing. Like, good luck, Rob. You have no case. You're wasting your fucking time. Your attorney is wasting your time. You can't afford it. Don't do it. What these people don't realize, the Rob Sauls of the world, he's literally on the internet with a big shiny sign behind him that says Saul Show. And he's got his own channel on YouTube, and he's making himself a public figure. And he's like, and this guy's saying stuff about me that's not true. Yeah, you're a public figure. So all of that's out the window now. You've kind of brought this on yourself. Kevin Brennan's going to say all sorts of shit, and your little lawsuit, like, he thinks just like John does. Yeah. I'll shut him up with a cease and desist. Fucking
Also,
idiot.
like, what's great about this is my favorite thing about John, and it is his worst trait, is believing everything that someone else tells
Yes,
you that
every
someone
time.
else said
Yeah.
about you. Like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, Carl, even if you texted me that, I don't know, whatever, Cardiff said this about me, I probably wouldn't believe you or honestly wouldn't care. Like,
Right.
It's so easy to get him riled up, and everyone knows how to push his buttons, and he falls for it every single time.
Every
Whether
time.
this happened or not, that's not the point of this. Like, it's amazing to me how he falls for it each and every time.
Clay Dabbler tries to explain this to him. John, this person Nogo keeps giving you this information, and this other person, they keep giving you false information. You keep saying it on the air. He's making you look like an idiot. Why do you do
Crazy.
that? And John goes, okay, but do you live in this area of London? It's just like, no, John, I'm telling you, stop fucking listening to these fucking people. But yeah, it's amazing. He'll never learn. He wants it to be true so bad. When he has information on his enemies, he wants it to be true so bad, he just goes with it.
Right. So he says, did he say this? Rob says, yeah, he did. Okay, then I'm going to do this. He's never going to go back and see if anyone had ever said anything because his
never.
buddy said it.
Never.
Yep, that's all he needs.
I'm not allowed to do that.
Well,
So
more the merrier.
What?
Never mind.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do that. And let me download his fucking show right now.
Okay. So I guess what Kevin Brennan's angle was, a chat on there, they're watching Sniping John, and they're saying, hey, everyone who's watching this, call John's school and say that John was laughing at a 9-year-old's death. So that was their angle on this, because that's how MLC operates. It's got people in trouble in the real world over internet shit.
The point being, if Kevin was telling people to get me fired, then I'm going to file a complaint and issue a summons against Mr. Brennan.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not allowed to start telling people to get me fired for whatever he's defending his lover boy Chad for. He's not allowed to do that. That's a misdemeanor, and I'll be in New York very soon.
Yeah.
So that will be filed. That's a fact check.
Okay.
And he can try and delete everything he can because it's already downloaded.
There you have it.
You ready for a bold prediction? Here's another thing that will never happen. There's no way the police department is going to give a shit about this misdemeanor of Kevin Brennan telling people to get John fired on the internet. Nothing's going to happen.
I don't believe anything he says.
No.
But instantly, you do not have to pay attention if it's followed by "that's a fact check."
Yep. That's a tell right there. Nothing is going to happen. Now, I have to point this out. This is a key point because as we saw earlier, John was talking about, oh, woe is me, you guys are going to get my gigs canceled. Meanwhile, he's actively trying to get Chad's gigs canceled. And now people are trying to get him fired. So listen to what he says to Rob Saul here.
Rob, when is enough enough? Like, I thought this was, like, am I going to anyone's job? I don't know. Am I calling your work? I don't know. Am I going out of my way to call somebody's job? I don't know. I mean, I'm asking you, have I?
No, you have not.
Rob just like, how do I answer that? So John says, have I ever gone out of my way to try to get somebody fired? Would I ever do anything like that? Let me play you this clip from the Stuttering John podcast back in 2018.
He has no idea. Hi, Maya. He has no idea the litigation I'm going through to get him fired over at Sirius. He doesn't understand. I have the girl, one of the girls, who has the tweets. I have them in my possession now. Now all I'm going to do is I have a lawyer that is going to represent the girl, and she's going to sue Sirius XM.
This sounds like a case for Michael Avenatti.
I'm not saying what lawyer it is. I'm not saying it's Michael Avenatti.
I didn't say you said it was Michael Avenatti.
I'm not saying it. But soon, Sirius is going to be served with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit for harassment, sexual harassment by J.D. Harmeyer.
So what does John have to do with any of that? He just decided he wanted to get J.D. Harmeyer fired from his job and decided he was going to get a lawyer involved and try to get J.D. fired. And then John has the balls to come on this show and be like, Rob, when have I ever tried to get somebody fired?
I don't know what you're talking about, Carl. I don't. That youthful, vibrant voice that we just heard, that is clearly not the same.
I know. It's shocking. That is Stuttering John from just 6 years ago. But that is the truth. I know. So once again, John is such a hypocrite. He plays by his own rules. They don't apply to him for whatever reason. And he really is a pile of garbage. But all that said, I do want to watch him teach students the major scale and explain what an octave is.
You mean his one-man show?
I really do want to see that one-man show.
I want to see that so bad.
Oh.
Because it's a mix of everything. He's playing, he's singing, he's teaching, he's interacting.
Oh, I hope he raps.
It's going to be, it's going to have everything in it.
Some moonwalking.
John, don't forget that lesson plan. Whatever you do, keep that one. I love the
I hope there's
fact
little cardboard cutouts, like sets, like, you know, here's the skyline of New York City. They wheel in behind him at one point.
maybe he's got that thing like the Jackson 5 where it like comes off and it's like, now I'm going to bring in the whole band. And they're all singing and dancing around.
Dig deep, brothers.
Could you imagine if he puts way more effort into this than we ever could have thought? And it really is like a Jack Black School of Rock kind of thing where he's just like, anyway. I can't. So I'll just drop that right now. There's no way he's half-assing all of this, and he sucks at it, and it's embarrassing.
I'd take my whole family. I'd be like, guys,
oh my God,
we're going for it. They would have no idea what's going on, and I'd just be grinning ear to ear the whole time.
I know.
Laughing like an idiot.
Let's bring Annie in here.
Hey, Carl.
What's up,
Great
Annie?
to see you.
Good to see you.
Everything
Hi, Annie.
does sound good.
I don't
It's
think
just
we've
choppy.
Okay.
I don't think we've ever met, Annie. I don't think you've ever been on at the same time
Hi,
as me.
nice,
Is that
Doug.
correct? Hi.
No, I don't think we've ever been on
Okay.
at the same time.
How rude of me. Doug, Annie, Doug. Now you've met.
I'm familiar with your work.
Carl.
I'm a big fan.
All right, let's get into it.
It's time for everyone's favorite new game show, To Poke a Dabbler. Are you ready to play To Poke a Dabbler?
Now, I graduated in 1989. I wasn't even going to go to the graduation. That morning, I slept on the floor at the Stern Show at 600 Madison Avenue. And my mom will tell you this. I called her when I woke up. Well, I should go. So I said, Ma, I'm going to go. So if you want to come. And I went.
What did John say next? Here are your choices. Number 1, didn't shower. B, hungover. Next, got my diploma. 4, I graduated. My mom saw it. And lastly, who is it? To poke a dabbler.
All right, this could be any of those. It's so tough. I'm going to go with 1, didn't shower. What do you think, Doug?
I'm going to go with next, got my diploma. And before anybody else answers, I've never won, so don't pick that.
All right. Annie, what do you think?
I think he went hungover and he's proud of it.
Very possible, yes. I could be any of these. Producer Chris?
I went 4 because that's his witness.
Okay, yes, he does like to say...
He's already mentioned his mom.
Robert Myers saw my book on Carl's Patreon. My mom. All right, here we go.
So I said, Ma, I'm going to go. So if you want to come. And I went, didn't shower.
Yes!
Yes! At least that part you can goof on. But I slept at the Stern Show. I even remember the pants I was wearing. They were
still on me.
tie-dye jeans black jeans that I made white and black.
Oh.
Give it up for not showering.
He made them
And
white.
I got the gown, walked in the procession,
Brilliant.
sat in my seat.
Brilliant.
I even jumped.
And that's how the squeegee bit was born. Right? I had my closer and my diploma.
Well, I didn't jump. I walked into the fountain water at Washington Square Park, and I ended up in the yearbook.
I was once like all of you.
In that fountain. Now, all this is all documented. There's no way you can lie.
Show the documentation.
About any of this.
Show it.
It's all
I want to see the
documented.
yearbook photo.
Me too.
Both on radio, both at NYU, and both in my transcript that I had to submit
3
to
bucks.
LA.
Those 4 boats.
I'm not going to say it. To the school district that I used to work
You think he grabbed some change when he was in the fountain?
at. I know, James. Who cares?
But lucky
I
day.
don't. But the losers
Oh, he's talking about me.
care. And by the way,
That's all for this time. Come back next time. Find out if you are man enough to poke a dabbler.
Who are these podcasts?